What is the graph of the function? All right. Well, for this test, the it's not as much of a graphing test as the one that we took before we went on the break, where you had to do the axis of symmetry and then plot the points and everything. But you have to at least be able to recognize transformations. What type of transformation has occurred here? Okay, let's identify the values. What form is that in? Yeah, it's in vertex form of the square. What's A here? What's H?
Positive.
Positive 2. What's K?
0.
So what type of transformation has occurred? We've done a horizontal translation 2 units to the right. Okay. You also could tell by the vertex that the vertex here is 2, 0. And I believe out of all these graphs, there's only one that has a vertex at 2, 0. Which one is that? So the focus of this test is more on identifying transformations as opposed to knowing how I like to use an axis of symmetry. And there could be a little bit of that, but that's not the main focus. Match again. So which one of these graphs is the same as the one here above? Again in vertex form. What's A here? What's A on this one? What does that tell you? The fact that A is -1. It's going to be facing down. So I know it can't be this one, or this one. What is H? -1, and what's K? 2. So which one of these has a vertex at -1, 2 and is facing down? Vertex is at -1, 2, opening down. Okay, also in vertex form. What's A here? What does that tell you? It should be a little vertically stretched compared to the parent, the basic parabola, which is just y. Compared to just y equals x squared, which you have a picture of that one on your notes, this should look a little bit taller and skinnier. Sometimes it's hard to judge when something's been stretched out, but it should look a little bit taller and skinnier. How about H? What's H? 2 and 1. We also know because A is positive that we're going to be facing up. So in this case, it cannot be B, it cannot be A, it can't be F. It has to be facing up. You probably don't even need, you don't need to worry about the stretch part because the vertex takes care of it. And that is also the case here. Which one of these is facing up with a vertex at 2, 1? These are the ones missed the most. I don't have a printout to give you, but I believe I do have that data. I could tell you. It's a small sample because I only have this class left. I don't have any other classes, but I could tell you. Let's see. This first one, 47% of you got it right, so slightly less than half. There's 17 people in here, so I would assume that's about no, sorry, not 17. 15 of you tested, so 47% means 7 of you got it right. 8 of you missed it. Same thing with this one. More people missed it than got it right, 47%. This one was even less. This one was 40. This next one was at least 53. So this one probably was 8 correct and 7 wrong. Looks like one person didn't even answer this one. I don't know why you wouldn't have answered it. Maybe you skipped it by mistake. What's A here? Do you remember when we did these that they were just like this? We did that activity that was matching and stuff. It's kind of the same thing. It's just like a match of them. And I thought you guys did well on that one. When you had to match the graph with the equation. Should be on video. I think I recorded that one. H here is and K is. So we know it's going to be facing down. It should also be a little bit skinnier, tall and skinny, compared to the parent parabola. Which one here has the vertex at 4, 8? Yeah, also notice how F looks a little bit more stretchy, vertically stretchy than A and B. Okay. This next one was 53%. So 8 people got it right, 7 people got it wrong. What is the vertex form of the equation? In order to identify the vertex form of the equation, I need A, H, and K. Which one transfers over? A. So if A here is 1, A there is 1. But what form is this currently in? Standard. So here this is A, B, C. A is 1, B is 8, C is -6. How do I find H? Brian, are you're watching this? I remember you having a lot of questions about this. Negative B, so if B is -8, it'd be -8 over 2 times 4. So H is -4. Then you can substitute it in the long way. That's how most teachers teach it. And I don't have a problem with that. I just figure if you know how to do that, you already know how to do this. So I just offered you another option, which is to do the synthetic substitution. 1, 8, -6. How many of you guys, just out of curiosity, how many of you guys like using this? How many of you hate it and don't understand it because it's too hard? Martha? Drop the 1, -4, 4, -22. H is -4, K is -22. So now if we plug that back into vertex form, I don't need the 1 because it's in front of a parentheses. And what's going to go inside the parentheses? X plus 4 squared. Yeah, because for the H, you got to change the sign. Right, Shobi? If you don't change the sign, you got to do a Shobi. And then these were kind of a disaster, but like the thing is, it's hard to transfer these types of questions onto a Google form. So I did it the best way I could, and at least I know some people understood it because I had a couple kids that almost got perfect papers. So it's just a matter of on the rows, I put all the different types of transformations, and then on the columns I put different numbers. So like, look, this is vertex form, right? So A, H, K, -1/3. H is -5. K is. You don't have to worry about matching on the test tomorrow because tomorrow is just going to be written, so you don't have to worry about like a Google form or anything. But let's list the transformations. What are we going to have here? Good, x-axis reflection. So what would have happened on the on this practice test you took yesterday? You would go to x-axis reflection. Now the thing is, with an x-axis reflection, there's no number. Like there's no magnitude of it. So in order to get it to work, that's why I had that column on top that just said reflection, and I asked you to bubble that one in. There's no number. Whereas, what's the next transformation? There's a vertical compression by a factor of 1/3. So on yesterday's thing, you would have found the 1/3 and then gone and put a bubble on that row. Yeah. There is. But that's controlled by a value that you haven't been introduced to yet. there's a if you were to put a parentheses inside of a parentheses, then what goes in front of the x there, that's what would control the y-axis reflection. Depends on the book you use, because even in Algebra 2, I've seen books that teach it. I've seen books that don't even mention it. The only time that the only type of function where you cannot, where an x-axis reflection cannot accomplish what a y-axis reflection can, is a square root. If you would ever graph you know what a square root looks like, right? Square root. If you ever graph a square root on a graph, it looks like this. Well, obviously, if you get this and flip it on the x-axis, it looks this way. But if you were to flip it on the y-axis, it would look this way. So, those are the only ones where it really makes a difference. The other graphs you do are symmetrical. So, it's like, look, what do these graphs look like? These quadratic graphs, what do they look like? That's what we focus this whole entire unit on. Parabola. If I get a parabola and flip it on the y-axis, what's it still going to look like? Yeah, it's still going to look like a parabola. I just flipped it. So with a parabola, the only real difference is when you flip it on the x, because then that's what determines if it's facing up or down. And there's one more transformation here. You're going to have a bunch of these tomorrow. You better know these. How to identify transformations. What's the last transformation? There is a horizontal translation. Translations are slides. And it's going to be 5 units. On this practice test, it would have been, you would have done left. That's where it's going, left. And it would have been 5 units. So you would have like found the 5, put that bubble there. I didn't know of another way to arrange it. I can't have you type it. It doesn't know how to recognize it at all. Here you look confused. Confusion? Yeah, these faces, man. I just feel bad. Just terrified. Okay, vertex form. Let's identify the transformations. A is 1, H is, K is. Okay. Does A contain any transformations? No, because it's not negative and it's 1. So we don't have to worry about any stretches, compresses, or reflections. But H is doing something. What is H doing? Horizontal translation. If you leave out the word horizontal, that's okay, because now we're going to come up and say 5 units to the right. So since the word right already denotes that you're going horizontally, even if you weren't to write horizontal, that's fine. You can just say translation 5 units right. The last one, and there is also a vertical translation here, where we had, translation 1 unit down. Right, Sam? Ooh, very similar. A is 1. So the A is not going to do anything. H is 1. And K is 2. So I can almost go back to the last one. It's very similar to this one. Copy this. Paste it. Oh. the wrong one? No, I pasted on the wrong one. This one's almost the same thing. I just pasted the. Caleb, it's all your fault. That's cool. So with A being 1, there's nothing vertical going on. But the horizontal translation is going to go where? 5 units to the right, good. And vertically, we're going to go 2 units up. Next one here, what's A? H is, K is. Now, this one does have something happening vertically. What's happening vertically? An x-axis reflection. On a reflection, there's no magnitude. It just reflects. What? Show me what's causing the x-axis reflection. Yeah. Ingrid, what's causing there to be an x-axis reflection? Jason, what's causing there to be an x-axis reflection? No, but I asked you first. B money. Brandon, x-axis reflection. Yeah, the fact that A is negative. Anytime A is negative, it's an x-axis reflection. And then the only thing left are the translations. Sam, are we translating horizontally? Yeah. How far and where? In what direction? Marquise, what you got there? Distracted. What's gonna happen vertically? So yeah, just so you, well, these were broken up into little pieces, I guess you could say. So it's hard to gauge exactly. Like basically, what I mean is, you actually could have gotten partial credit on these. So like if you got the horizontal part right, but the vertical part wrong, like you were given a point for each one. But I could tell you roughly for the first one we did that I just went over of these, probably was around like 35% of you guys got it right. The second one was around 32, 33%. The next one was around like 36, 37%. And then this is the last one here. This is going to be around 50. Around half of you guys got some sort of credit. A is 2, H is 3, H is -1. Sure, but you redeem yourself. Some type of transformation is happening here. Jada, some type of transformation? Huh? Good, bro. Yeah, we do have a vertical stretch. When we do vertical stretches, it's multiplication that's causing it, so we say it's by a factor. So vertical stretch by a factor of, how much is it stretching? Good. Excellent. PR, anything else? Any other transformations here? Martha? It's going to the right. How far? 3 units, yeah. So we have a horizontal translation, 3 units to the right. And then Brian, what's the last transformation? Jason, you want to redeem yourself? What's the last transformation I'm missing? Only one left. Yeah. Julian, you want to try? What's the last transformation? Good. Vertical translation 1. And then surprisingly, I don't know if it was maybe because of the multiple choice, I'm not sure, but I mean, I hope going into tomorrow, I hope that these are the ones that you guys do well on, because you're gonna see a lot of these too, where we have to convert forms. So I'm hoping it wasn't because it was I had no other way of putting this on there other than multiple choice, but I'm hoping it's because you guys understand it. But let's see. Let's go from write the intercept form. So what form is this in? I know it's hard to see a little bit, but what form is that in originally? Standard. So we want to go from standard to intercept. What do we need to do? What skill do we need to possess in order to do that? We need to factor. Yeah. Anytime you factor, what do you look for first? Greatest common factor. What is the greatest common factor of 6? Yeah, they can all be divided by 6. So I factor out of 6, I'm left with x squared minus 5x minus 36, which works out nicely because now for factoring, the number in front of the x is a 1. That 6 is going to stay with us, but the number in front of the x is a 1. So the million-dollar question then becomes, can you think of 2 numbers that multiply to give you negative 36 and add up to negative 5? Negative 9 and 4. You can do the little table. Those of you that came from another teacher, you can do the x thingy-majigger. But I keep the 6, the 2 numbers that multiply to give me negative 36, add up to negative 5, and negative 9 and positive 4. But wait, Mr. Romero, how about if I wrote x plus 4 and then x minus 9? That's fine too. They actually wrote it, have it the way I have it. It's no enough because it's, oh wait, do I have to write the negative first? No, it doesn't matter. Now, because, see again, what skill did we just use? Factoring. And factoring, next to fractions, I always call those the 2 F words of math, are the factoring is probably the least liked skill overall of any student on any level of algebra. You can walk into an algebra 2 class probably and find kids that still do not know how to factor, right? So on something like this, even being multiple choice, what the children like to do then is that they do the opposite of factoring. They simplify. They go to all the choices and they see which ones simplify and give you what you started with. But even then, you'd have to be careful. Tomorrow's test will not be multiple choice, but I'm just saying, if you were to take a multiple choice test, what I've seen done before is that they'll give you more than one of these that simplifies to give you that. Like if you get rid of the parentheses by distributing or FOILing, they'll give you more than one that gives you what you started with, but only one of them will be completely factored. So I don't know, I haven't tested all of those, but the only one that gives you exactly what you started with, and that's completely factored is right, Jason? Any questions there? Okay, now we want vertex form. So this will be, is this the second time we do this today? I feel like we did this once already today. What form are they starting you in here? So from standard we can get A, B, and C. But in vertex form I need A, H, and K. I know A is going to transfer over. Oh, by the way, the last one I did, it doesn't make sense. Oh, wait, I'm not looking at it. The last one I did, 53% of you got it. So that looks like 8 people got it right, but 7 people got it wrong. And then this one here, same thing. This one here is the same thing. Eight people got it right, 7 people got it wrong. How do I find H? So if B is already negative, that's going to be positive 16 over 2 times 1, which is 8. Then with K, you can go substitute it, get that 8 and plug it into here if you want. Or you can do it the way that Martha hates, which is to do synthetic substitution. Drop the 1, 8, negative 8, negative 64, negative 8. We'll stay in function notation because that's what they wrote it in originally. When A is 1, I don't need the 1. Here's my parentheses. What's going to go inside the parentheses? X minus 8. Because you have to change the sign of the H. But the K stays the same, so that's also minus 8. And so that would be any questions for me? Are there any that maybe you remember? Like I can actually still show you the quiz. Are there any that you remember from yesterday that I didn't happen to go over? You're like, oh man, I saw that one and it was just super hard. Is there any that you remember? Like I can even flash the test up if you want to see it. If you want to see it again, I can show you. Like, I mean, I did pretty much at least one of each. So first the graph, vertex form. Then there were these transformation thingies where they had to match. Here, and you have one that I didn't go over that you want to go over? Ask them, can you tell her? No. It's funny how no is the same like pretty much in every language, huh? Oh, because like you asked her in what's the language that you guys speak again? Vietnamese, but then she just says no. You want to do this one here? The fraction, that one didn't seem to get too many people. Up. This one here. These here. Well that's okay. Like so, look, I can't click on the boxes right now. But like, so this has a vertical stretch of 2, right? So you would go to vertical stretch, go over to 2, and click that one there. It won't let me do it. You see what happens when I try to do it? Here, but I can show you. This is what it would look like. So there was a vertical stretch of 2. So I would just click that box. Then, because there's a -3 in here, what looks like a -3, really H is +3. So that means I'm going to go to the right. So you would go translation right. How far? 3. And you would put that bubble. Then this is down 1. So you would go to translation down and then hit 1. I couldn't think of any other way to arrange it. That's the best I could do. She doesn't understand it still? Oh, you had to answer everyone. Well, the good news is even if you did that, if you look here on the right, those weren't worth any points. So even if you bubbled one that was incorrect, it didn't hurt your grade. There's no other way to do it. The only way you really would have screwed it up is if you on the correct answer, if you picked the wrong number, if you just left it blank. Sam, questions? Yeah. Okay. I don't have anything else planned for today.